Keanu Reeves. Since I've started reading cards, I have to say Keanu is probably one of the people that I'm most requested to read for. And he's so loved, and we know why, because he seems to be such a deep and soulful person who's been through a lot. And we're interested in his life because we want the best for him. So for all the people that have asked me for another Keanu reading, here it is. This one is a little bit different because I'm using a system called Pythastro, which I developed myself along with my guide, which gives you incredibly accurate readings into personality and particularly into compatibility. So I'm going to be looking at Keanu and Alex and what's between them. Are they compatible or are they not? Stick with me for the next half hour and find out. Hello and welcome back to the Sky Spirit channel. How are you doing? If you are a subscriber, then hello again. If you are not a subscriber, then please do subscribe. It takes you but a second and is free, and it means the world to me, and it means that I can spend more time reading for you. Right, so we're looking at Keanu again, but we're using Pythastro this time, which is so good, which I can't wait to show you. If you would like to see more Pythastro readings, easy to do, not as easy to say, let me know in the comments below, because I'd like to show you how to do it for yourself as well. Okay, so in a nutshell, Pythastro Tarot combines numerology, astrology, and tarot. Okay, it's Pythagorean tarot numerology, so that's how you work out various numbers to do with your name, to do with your date of birth, your birth name, and your actual date of birth. Astrology, all the elements of astrology, particularly the elements for your sun sign, Venus sign, moon sign, ascendant, things like that. And also tarot, and we use tarot to create that narrative which is laid down by the numerology and by the astrology. Now, with Pythastro Tarot, it takes a long time to work out, okay? And it's like I have spent literally half a day working out all the numbers and all the cards for both Keanu Reeves and Alex Grant. Okay, so when you do Pythastro, I will start with the cards on the table, as you'll see, because I've already put in the work behind the scenes to work out what those cards will be. And you'll see what I mean as I go along. So without further ado, I shall show you the cards. Now let's see if I can get the right screen on here. That would be helpful. Right, I'm going to just put them there for a second and then I'll move them onto the full screen as I talk through them. Just to tell you before we start, because I'm doing a compatibility reading here, on the left hand side here I have Alex. Now, if you're doing a man and a woman, you put the woman on the left-hand side and the man on the right-hand side, okay? So I've got Alex on the left, I have Keanu on the right. So those are two halves. It's a reading where the cards are already down because each one of these positions has been worked out using numerology and astrology as well. I keep stumbling over that because I want to say it's Pythagorean, I always get that word wrong, Pythagorean numerology, because there are different systems and it's that one that I'm using. Okay, so let's put these on the screen and I'm going to explain them, the positions card by card, so you can understand, and then we'll look at what those cards actually mean. It's really exciting. I can't wait to show you. Right, let's change scene, bear with me. We've got that right. Okay, so now you can see the cards and not me on the full screen, which is great. So we're going to start with Keanu. Now, using the first thing that you do when you're doing this type of reading is you actually do what's called the core card. Now, the core card is calculated using the birth name and the birth date, and Keanu works out as the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles means that this is his core personality. So his soul, the soul that moves from life to life to life, however many lives you have, this is the soul that stays with you. This is like your inner self, okay? These cards at the top here, what I've done, because we're doing a compatibility reading, I've got his sun incarnate and I've got his Venus incarnate. Okay, now his Sun incarnate is about his personality in this lifetime. His Venus incarnate is obviously about his personality when it comes to relationships, because of course Venus governs our relationships, doesn't it? So that's the planet of love and of how we connect with people. In the middle here, we have got his strengths and weaknesses when it comes to personal relationships. Oh, something else I want to tell you there. So this type of tarot, Pythastro Tarot, is to do with personality types and how they interact with each other and how we interact with the world. It's really a fascinating system because you can use it using an astrology and numerology, but also if you don't believe in those things or don't want to use them, I've also developed a system where you can just, like, it's almost like Myers-Briggs personality indicators, so you can actually answer questions to find out which cards you are and use that in order to use that, you know, like self-development, or to work out different ways to tackle things, work out why you relate to certain people as you do and the problems that you come across in relationships, particularly those problems that keep popping up. So let's go back to that screen. I just thought I had to tell you that there. Right, so we're going to have a look at Keanu. We're going to start with his core card. So he is called the Patient Planner. Now this card is somebody, this soul number is somebody who puts the work in, and they're really about an exchange of energy. So they're very future focused in a way, okay? They're always thinking about what they can actually, tell you what, I'm going to put me back on the screen because it's very weird talking like that. We'll just lift the card up like this. So this is his core, this is his soul card. If you look at the illustration, you'll see when I'm doing Pythastro, I'm actually using 2 decks, Rider-Waite decks. So this is somebody who puts the work in and expects a good harvest. It's like he's always willing to go the extra mile. He's somebody who works hard and somebody who expects to work hard. It's likely that he came from a hard-working lineage, like a family that have also had that sort of instilled thing where, you know, they're hard workers and they put in the work and but they do well, yeah, because they're very conscientious at what they do and they, you know, they get out what they put in. It's about that reciprocal exchange of energy with Keanu. Now if you have a look at that card, it's quite beautiful. What he's doing is he watches the plants grow. He watches that, he plants the seed and he watches it grow. He's patient. We call this personality type the patient planner, okay? He's strategic, he invests time wisely, and then he plants the seeds and he watches it grow. Now this is an earth card, with it being pentacles, which means that he has his feet sort of firmly planted in that lovely earthy soil. He's quite practical, but he's also good at expressing himself in artistic ways and things like that. He's good at assessing his progress. He's good at assessing what's going on around him. Sometimes he may need to pause. He likes to be able to pause to sort of take stock of what's going on. He doesn't like to be rushed, and that's going to be key as we move forward. His long-term perspective is something about, you know, he looks long-term for what's going to be successful. He's not like a instant gratification person. That's no good for Keanu. He's more about watching those seeds grow. Now in shadow, there's the potential for him to delay decision making and to always be stuck in analysis. Excuse me, I have a cat hair on my nose as normal. So he does have a tendency to perhaps sort of delay decisions, or to, you know, perhaps he fears change a little bit. That is what comes across with this card when we look at this through a Pythastro lens. It's somebody who doesn't like to change, who likes things to be in the way that he wants them to be, which is an interesting quality as we move forward. Now, I want to take you directly up to the Sun cards here. This is the Sun incarnate, okay? And we have his Sun incarnate, which is his name, incarnate, and his date of birth incarnate. Now the sun is about that personality that is the forefront of us in this life. You know, this is who we are. This is who we are inside, and sort of the things that happen to us over and over again. It's like our core personality, not our soul personality, because that is eternal. This is incarnate, so it's in this lifetime. Now straight away you'll see the 5 of Pentacles is about, sorry, it's that one, it's about loss. Okay, so it's something that Keanu probably experiences as a repeated cycle in his life. Remember, when we are incarnated into our current life, there are lessons that we have to learn, and it feels like the lesson in this life for Keanu, or one of them, has very much been about loss and how to deal with that. Now that seems a bit sort of unfair, doesn't it? But remember, we have a soul contract, and it's all about our soul's progression over many lives. So there's something that Keanu needs to learn about loss. Now interestingly, with this card, there's also, you can always tell when you look at the illustrations on these cards, these people, okay, they've lost their home, they're being sort of turfed out, if you think about that metaphorically. So they're sort of leaving things behind, they've lost people, they've lost belongings. But this bright window behind them, that's symbolic of the fact that there is help there, and they have to learn how to reach out and how to trust, how to ask for help. Now with Keanu, the context, looking at it in that context, means that although he experiences loss, he has a problem with knowing who to trust to ask for help. Okay, and he has a problem with reaching out. It feels like he has built so many walls around him because of the losses and the grief that he has suffered. Now that ties in with the next card, which is the 3 of Pentacles. Remember, we're looking at incarnate sun name, incarnate sun date of birth. These 2 cards work together. Okay, this is lessons that need to be learned, which is tying in with this karmic lesson that Keanu is having to go through over and over again, to do with loss and to do with not being able to put those barriers down and reach out. Because this is a card of being recognized for skills, being promoted. And if you think of that on a soul level, it's all about that repeating cycles, things that keep happening. Everything happens exactly the same until you change something, doesn't it? Think about, you know, when you're in a relationship and it seems like the next relationship, the same issues come up, and that's because you ain't learning the lesson. Yeah, you're not moving past that. It's like life will keep giving you the same lesson until you learn it, and then you can progress. So this card is almost like a, you know, like on a computer game where you'd get past the final thing and then you'd progress to the next level. So this is really underlining the fact that Keanu has lessons to learn about loss, and also lessons to learn about who to trust and who to reach out to, because it feels like there are people that he can reach out to and trust, but he backs off from them. Yeah, he's not seeing them. And that is, if you look at that card, these people are walking straight past that glowing, lovely window, and in there is warmth and comfort and material help and spiritual help, but they are sort of limping past in the snow and they're not even looking round. So it feels like he can be quite is how Keanu is in love in life. Now, what we've got is a real, what's the word when there's 2 opposite things, 2 opposing things? I can't remember what the word is. Honestly, put me on camera and my head just goes blank with all these words. What we've got here is celebration and love. It feels like he can swing from feeling elated like he is with the best person And if you look at that card, the 5 of Cups is probably one of the saddest cards in the tarot deck, because it talks about emotional loss, having to leave something or having something taken away from them. So we've got this card, 3 of Cups, which is joy. Okay, so that's been joy in his relationship, but also there is intense loss. And this is what molds the way that he deals with current relationships. Okay, it's like he is scared to experience the joy because he knows the pain of loss. And that means that, again, relating that back to his sun cards, because we always look at those cards in context, we read them together, we don't ever read one card at a time in tarot. We're looking at the context, we're looking at how they interact. And we've got somebody who experiences a lot of losses. Some of these have absolutely floored him to the point where they affect his joy in current relationships. Remember, this is Venus I have in my hand. This is how he relates to other people. This is him in his love relationships. Okay, it's that feeling of loss that won't go away. And it's also a feeling of this is a person who thinks that the joy is behind him. This is a person who doesn't look forward enough and feels almost stuck in the past. Okay, I'm just going to relate you back to one of his sun cards there, which is not looking where the help is. Okay, it's right there in front of him, and there is that lesson to be learned, 3 of Pentacles there. But it feels like at the moment he's stuck in this karmic cycle, and it's this joy that has been lost which is holding him back from being able to commit and experience true love at the moment. But we'll look more at that as we move forward. Now, what we're also going to do is look at, if you have a look in the middle of this spread, we have got Keanu's strength, Keanu's weaknesses. Now, you'll see when I move across here to Alex, we do them like the opposite way around, but this is his strength. So we'll do his strengths first. So his strength is the Lovers. How wonderful is that? So what does that actually mean? So the Lovers card is beautiful. It's about somebody who's romantic. It's about somebody who loves to be loved and also loves to love. Their strength is being able to wrap their compassionate mind into somebody else. It's almost like that connection on soul level. It's like they can reach out with their mind and make somebody feel that love. They don't have to be physically next to them. It's like their ultimate soul is somebody who wraps their arms around you. Okay, so that is the Lovers, and that is his strength. It's that romance, it's that being able to instill in others the feeling of being wrapped in love. Okay, not many people can do that properly. Now, the irony, of course, of this card turning up in Keanu's Pythastro is he almost feels like he cannot experience that same sense of love himself because he's so scared of the loss and of the grief that he's had. I mean, I draw you back to 5 of Cups, 3 of Cups here, which is his Venus, which is all about that joy of love and loss of love. And we bring him into being the Lovers, which talks about his true nature is to be is to love and be loved, but his Sun and his Venus hold him back from his strength. So we've got a real contrast there. We've got these 2 areas of his life really fighting against each other because his true nature is being held back by his current incarnation. Remember, these top cards here are called what we call incarnate cards. So they're what happens in this lifetime. Your strengths and weaknesses are more associated with that core soul card, which was the first card at the bottom of the spread here that I covered. So Keanu's Lovers card is his true nature, but he's being held back by those incarnate things that he's gone through. And incarnate cards tend to reflect those lessons that have to be learned as we move from life to life. Interesting. So going back across to the spread here, I'm trying to keep things a little bit tidy, because if you've seen me read before, normally with a Celtic cross, you'll see there's like cards all over the table because I'm like constantly pulling clarifiers. I'm trying to keep this a bit tidier today. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Keanu's weaknesses now. And what we've got here is we've got strength reversed. So basically, before I do that, let's point out that both Keanu's strengths and weaknesses here are major arcana cards, which means that he has sort of massive swings. Let's me back on the screen while I'm talking, otherwise it's a bit strange. So he has massive strings. There are things that, like this intense love that he is capable of giving to others, although not receiving as well. It's a huge driving force in him. That major arcana is massive. They're massive transformational powers, okay? But similarly, his weakness is also a major arcana card, strength reversed, which means strength reversed in Pythastro is about, tripping over my words here, suppressing emotions. So what he does is he keeps everything inside him, and that strength is given to other people. That strength can be leached from him by somebody who has not the best intentions, shall we say. He is almost like he is an ideal victim for an emotional vampire. When we see the card like this, we're talking about somebody who has battled and been through a lot, but they literally swallow it down. They literally don't want to be a burden to people. And I also bring you back to that 5 of Pentacles card, where these people are walking past, they're in need, and they're not looking at that window. They're not taking the help that they're offered. And that is reflected in his weakness card. It's talking about not asking for help, putting those barriers up, suppressing, swallowing down emotions, avoiding confrontation. Now, one thing that has just come into my head there as well is that when we suppress emotions and we don't let them out, I feel that he could suffer from illnesses that are brought on by that. Remember, disease is a dis-ease, and it's almost like when you swallow anger or swallow sadness, I feel that it builds up in your body. There's a wonderful book called The Body Keeps the Score. I can't remember who it's written by, but it talks about that. So we need to watch Keanu for this kind of problem, health problem, associated with not letting trauma out. And I feel that he is currently having some form of trauma counselling, but I feel that is very important for him to do. Now, another problem with this weakness, when it's expressed in this way, is that people with this aspect in Pythastro can lose an idea of their boundaries, so they can be influenced by somebody else. And as I said before, it's almost like the ideal candidate for an emotional vampire to latch onto, okay? But we're going to come to that. If you're enjoying this reading so far, then do let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you'd like to know more about Pythastro, because I would love to do more videos and show you how to do your own Pythastro charts and calculations. Okay, so we've looked at Keanu. Remember, I'm going to do Keanu, then I'm going to do Alex Grant, and then we're going to have a look at how those two Pythastro spreads interact with each other, which I think you're going to find very interesting. So back to our spread here. So this side, remember I said left-hand side is for the woman in this relationship who's Alex Grant. So Alex's core card. Remember, your core card is that core personality, which is your soul. It's something that goes from life to life to life, not like your incarnate cards, which are at the top here, but your soul. This is who you are inside. So Alex has the Hermit. Now, the Hermit, let's put me back on the screen. Hermit's quite wise, okay, and thoughtful. They're somebody who can be very spiritual inside, but they can be very single-minded and sort of shut themselves off and try to take the people that they want to be. They almost isolate other people as well. You often see this card come up when somebody can be quite controlling, because they don't just, I'm going to make up a word here, they don't just hermitize themselves, they hermitize those around them that they want to keep close to them. Okay, so even though the Hermit is a seeker of wisdom, they can also be somebody that seeks to isolate other people as well. Okay, now they can be, what you'll see, because this is a major arcana card as well, Alex has got a very strong personality, and we'll see how that develops as I walk you through the rest of her personality Pythastro spread. But we're seeing somebody who likes their own way. We're seeing somebody who can be quite spiritual, very intellectual, okay? She can think, this woman. But somebody who wants to lead the way. You'll see the Hermit has a light because they shine the way for other people, but the Hermit in shadow is the person that says, come on, it's this way, follow me. Yeah, they sort of don't allow other people their freedom as much. Okay, so we're not saying this is a bad person. We're not saying, there is no such thing when we're looking at this as bad and good. Really, there are different character traits, and it's all about how they interact with each other is what forms a person, and especially when we come to compatibility and what sort of enables us to interact with other people. So we've got the Hermit as Alex's core card. So we're going to go up to the incarnate cards for Alex. So this is about her current incarnation on this planet. Now, straight away, what you'll notice, I hope, is that there's only 2 cards here. And on Keanu's, we have his Sun incarnate, and we have his Venus incarnate. Now, the reason that we have only 2 cards for Alex is that she is she has a fire sign for her sun sign in astrology, but she also, her Venus is also in fire. Okay, so we actually have 2 sets of Aries here. Okay, now if you know anything about astrology, you're thinking, whoa, we've got a double Aries going on here. This is called Sparks Will Fly. So this is a lady who can probably fly off the handle quite easily. So we're going to have a look at these cards. Now, another thing, with there only being 1 set of 2 cards here that apply to both her Sun and her Venus, what we tend to find is that it almost like doubles the strength here. And it also means that because Venus is about love and relationships and your Sun is about your personality, it's like her personality is about that relationship. Yeah, if you were to take the relationship away, it's like half of her would not be there. It's like she is somebody that reflects the person that she's with. It becomes all consuming to her. She is somebody who will assimilate the other person, yeah, and be assimilated by them. So she will try to control that sort of pot where the 2 personalities are, because it is a big part of her, because she has got that double Aries, because we've got the same cards that apply to both her personality and the way that she interacts with others, her relationship with Keanu here. So this is really important, so listen closely. Okay, so we have a name, Pythastro incarnate, Sun and Venus, and we have her date of birth, Pythastro incarnate, and Venus and Sun. So let's have a look at these cards together. Right. Oh, I've put the wrong screen on. Right, so we've got somebody who is a planner and a person who likes to scheme ahead, somebody who has always known what they wanted, because what we've got here is the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a leader, but can be, again, I'm going to use the word controlling. It's somebody who knows what they want. I mean, one of the great things about this card, about the King of Wands in Pythastro, is that they're such a charismatic and influential person. It's the kind of person who can stand up in front of a room of people and get them on board. Yeah, it's also somebody who's incredibly creative. Okay, can use creative for powers of good, and they can use creativity for the darker side as well, though. Okay, now teaming our Fire King with our 3 of Wands, and we've got a really strong personality here to do with being in control and planning in relationships. This is somebody who literally would meet somebody, see them, decide I'm having that person, go home, write down their plan of exactly how they're going to get them, exactly what they're going to do, exactly where they want to be in 10 years. It's like they know what they want and they know how to get it. So they put the crown on and they go out and get it. Now, also this 3 of Wands coming up in Pythastro, and this, with it being Sun and Venus here, it's somebody who, because we're looking at a 3, it's somebody who wants to add to what they have with the relationship. It's like there are strings attached. It's somebody who always is looking at what the payoff is, what it brings to them. Okay, so straight away we can see, and I'm not going to get into the compatibility yet because I want to tell you about that separately, because otherwise it's just going to confuse things. But this is somebody who is so likes to be in control, in charge, and driving forward, has always had a plan from the word go. Okay, almost won't take no for an answer, and is like the kind of person that if you said no to them, they'd be like, I can't even hear you, we're just going to continue doing what I'm deciding we're going to do, because that's the plan and I'm the king. Okay, the Three of Wands is, okay, here I am, what's coming now? That's the 3. It's change, it's bringing something to you. And if you look at the illustration on the 3 of Wands here, this person's looking over new horizons, always on the lookout for something new, a new way to expand. Now that could be really positive, because this is a person who does not stand still in life or in relationships. But it also can make that person frustrated and unhappy, because nothing's ever good enough. It's like the grass is always greener. This pairing here, I can't imagine being in Alex's head, because it's like, you know what you want and you're driving forward towards it, but it's like, it must be frustrating when other people don't share that vision. And even when you get what you want, it doesn't feel like enough. There's always something else to be achieved. Okay, so remember, this is Alex's Sun and Venus together, and her relationship is so wrapped up in her personality, the way she views herself, that if she sort of gets a no from a significant other, it's not just like most of us just shrug it off and think, oh well, whatever, it's like a personal affront to her. She suffers when somebody says no to her in a relationship, because it's like it unvalidates her. Is that even a word? Is it devalidate, unvalidate? I can't remember. Tell me in the comments if you know, because my head goes blank in front of the camera. So that is her Sun and Venus, interestingly. Right, this is echoed. I'm going to move us down to the next cards here. So remember I said that when we look at these on the other side, we're sort of Keanu's strength and weakness. This is Alex's strength and this is her weakness. So interestingly, in Alex's strength we have the Hierophant. Now this is an interesting card to have as an artist's strength, because the Hierophant is traditionally more about sort of structure and organized ways of doing things. That personality that is sort of not personality, sort of a structure, organization, traditional ways of doing things. But it's also about rigid control. Okay, if you think about how an organization, now this card is often associated with the church or the Freemasons or like big companies, big corporations, things like that. If you think about how they're run, it's about rigid control. There's not much leeway for individualism. Now that sort of is that contrasts who we would imagine Alex to be, doesn't it? Because she's an artist, you'd imagine her to be quite individual, but it's very conflicting. It feels like she's incredibly driven. Okay, she has incredibly high expectations of herself, but I don't feel that she's very flexible, and that's with herself and with other people. I feel like Alex's biggest weakness is this inflexibility, not being willing to, and I'm drawing you back to the other cards, her incarnate cards as well, and also her core, which is that Hermit. It's like her need for control is almost like she can't compromise it. It has to be done in a certain way, and that's the Hierophant influence. Now, what you might have also noticed, I'll put this card down and show you, is that at the bottom of Alex's tree here, her core and her strength and weakness, we've got 3 major cards here. Okay, so we've got a very strong personality, very strong soul energy, very strong strengths and weaknesses. So we have to consider that moving forward. So She likes to be in control, and she's very rigid. Even though she's creative and artistic, there's this side of her that's incredibly conflicted, okay? Because there's that need for order, for things to be done in a certain way. And I feel that frustration that comes out with her incarnate cards as well, particularly as we've got that double whammy going on, which again is about inflexibility. Because if you imagine, if you've got 4 cards to sort of play out the narrative between your Sun and Venus, your personality and your relationships, it feels like there's more space. When you've just got 2, then it sort of holds you in a more narrow frame, okay? So it's all about that sort of constraint, that tunnel visionedness. Now, what we have here for a weakness as well, because this is a strength card, okay? So it's about control. It gives her power to do that. It gives her power, but it plays out as a weakness too, okay? Because it feeds into that frustration. But moving on to the card in the position of weaknesses here, what we've got is the Hanged Man reversed. Now, this is almost like we're going to look at these 2 cards together. That Strength card, which is the Hierophant, which is that need for, let's go back to that screen, which is that need for control, which is, even though she's artistic, she's got things like in order, everything has to be done. It's ritualistic, okay? The weakness card is the Hanged Man reversed. Now, this is impatience, okay? This is frustration. This is somebody who cannot wait for things to work out. Now, remember what her incarnate cards are as well, which is that King of Wands and 3 of Wands, which is about control and pushing forward and things never being good enough and the grass never being green enough, okay? What we've got here is somebody who won't wait. What we've got here is somebody who needs to know where they're going, and somebody who finds it incredibly difficult to sit back and watch how things develop. Yeah, it feels like there's always got to be this forward momentum, okay? So these cards, they paint the picture of somebody that is so in control, so driven, so career-minded. It feels like even though she is an artistic, a creative, which you'd imagine would be freer, she's always known what she wanted. This is somebody who's always known. She's always had a plan. She has known, as I said, with her relationship up there, she would have seen somebody, known she was going to be with them, known when she was going to do this, how she was going to get them, what was going to happen. It's the same with her strengths and weaknesses as well. It's a feeling of, she's like, right, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. The weakness comes where it has to be now. This is the Hanged Man reversed. The impatience and the frustration will trip her up. Okay, now what we're going to do is now we've had a quick rundown of those 2 halves. So you see, it's not that complicated when you do a Pythastro reading. And we can take this further and we can do, the ascendant and the moon, other planets, but ascendant and the moon are really good. But we haven't got like hours, and I could talk for hours about Pythastro because it's so accurate and it gives you such good insight. So what we now do is look at the compatibility between these 2 people. So how do we think this plays out? Now, looking at a soul level, so looking at that hermit who is that isolator, and we're looking at so Alex is the isolator and the isolated. So she likes to take what is hers and close to her and isolate it from other people. And she likes to be just in that bubble with her significant other. Okay, I think I'll put me back on the screen. I keep flicking between screens. I'm sorry if it's irritating. If it is, let me know in the comments and tell me how best to do it, because I don't know whether I should be on the screen, the card should be on the screen, or I should just keep it like this, or what. Who knows? So what we have is Alex is that isolator. She takes what is dear to her and she isolates it with her, okay? And that's to do with that strict need to control things. But we have Keanu, who is more about planting the seeds and watching things grow, okay? So we've got somebody who's driven and controlling and somebody who is far more laid back. Now, that's on a core level, so that doesn't really tell us much about this lifetime, because this lifetime is where they're having their relationship. So what we're going to do is have a look, first of all, at the incarnate cards across the top here, and then we'll have a look at how their strengths and weaknesses might interact in their relationship dynamics. So I'm just going to spread these cards out. Hopefully you can still see them. And what we do is we read these almost like a narrative of two halves. Okay, so basically what we have is we have Keanu, who has experienced loss, and loss is like a way of life to him. It's like it has touched him so deeply and it keeps returning that he's built up these huge walls and feels like he can't move forward. He doesn't know who to turn to, even though, remember this card, there are people around him waiting in the wings to help. Feels like this, which is his joy, was left behind. But at the same time, he is capable of bringing great joy to other people. It's like he has that in his soul. Remember his, I'm bleeding into the strengths and weaknesses here, but remember his lover's strength there. He is able to make people feel like they are the only person on earth, okay? But he struggles to give himself that same love. And he goes through these repetitive cycles of loss, which he must learn from. It's karmic for him. He has to learn from it. But to do that, he has to be with the right person. Now we're moving on to look how Alex interacts with that. Now, what Alex wants, like I can see from these cards, first of all, she wants to be in control, and she's like, this is how we're going to get you through this. We do this. This is how we do this. We'll sort this out. It's okay. I'm in control. I've got things sorted for you. And I feel that that is quite easy for Keanu to go, okay, that sounds great. But inside he's like, yeah, I know my own mind here. We'll see how this goes, and I don't think this is going to work out. So it feels like she keeps making plans and he keeps dragging his feet. Now, it feels like she's getting incredibly frustrated because these two cards together, this King of Wands, this Three of Wands, is somebody where the grass is never green enough. It's never enough. So I feel like she has taken their relationship on little stage by little stage by little stage, getting him to acknowledge it bit by bit by bit by bit. But there's always been this sense with him of going back to the cycle of loss, okay, and feeling that that joy is not with her, okay, because we're looking at it on the opposite side of the spread to where Alex lies, okay. We've got joy over this side. It is separated by the karmic things that are between them, but also her need to keep moving and keep pushing and keep pulling him along and controlling what's happening in their relationship. Okay, so this creates more and more distance between them. Looking at how their strengths and weaknesses interact here, basically we've got, let me just have a look at these and have a good think, because it's a really interesting set of 4 cards here. Because we have him on one hand, he is the giver in this relationship, and he's struggling with suppressing his emotions, and also he has a lack of boundaries, and she is the rigid, I want to say authoritarian. She's sort of rigid, controlling, more sort of, we need a plan, let's put this together, this is how we're going to move forward. But she's not willing to wait, and this is causing a major problem because he is pulling back and she is pushing forward. His love does not interact well with her Hierophant because his love is sensual. The Hierophant is practical. Yeah, the Hierophant is about building blocks and institutions and things that are created by man, where the Lovers is about an angel. It's about the spirit blessing of love rather than love that is manufactured and love of material things. Okay, the Hierophant likes to be in control. The Hierophant is a controller. The Lover is the word acquiescent. I think that's the word. The Strength reversed. I've got those cards the wrong way around. The Hanged Man reversed. We've got somebody who won't wait, and somebody whose problem can be holding back too much. So again, you can see we've got polar opposites going there. Somebody who won't wait, and somebody who is always pulling back, who suppresses their emotions and who struggles with boundaries. Okay, so when I said before that this is the ideal candidate for an emotional vampire, I'm looking at how this card and this card interact, because you've got somebody who wants to push forward and is very controlling about it, and you've got somebody who is who can struggle with emotional boundaries and giving somebody too much of themselves without receiving, if that makes sense. And this also teams with the fact that he's card the Lovers as well, that natural wanting to make people happy, wanting to wrap the arms around them and keep them happy. That will be, I don't want to use too tough words, it feels like I'm being so one-sided here, but literally these are the cards that come out. It feels like this person would find a good meal here. That sounds dreadful, doesn't it? Now, all in all, the rundown here is that we've got, think about this in terms of physics, osmosis, okay? We've got something that's sucking one side and something that's flowing the other side, and I feel like there is that constant moving towards her. But don't write Keanu off as being sort of, you know, this sort of, oh well, I'll just go along with it, because his karmic cycle is so strong of loss, he isn't afraid to step back from this, okay? He doesn't want to hurt anybody, but he's not afraid to step back from this relationship. And remember the core of his soul, he wants to put in something, but he also wants that reciprocated. He wants it to come back to him. So when we look at it not occurring in that way in the rest of the spread, we can see that this is going to, for want of a better phrase, wear very thin with him. And so I don't see this relationship working out between them for the reasons that I've underlined. I'm sorry if that's upset anybody, but I tell it like it is. Now, if you have enjoyed that reading, let me just turn that little screen off. Oh, I put that one on by mistake. That one. That's the one. Right, okay, if you've enjoyed that reading. Now also, I think that I should tell you how I work those cards out, so you can see that I didn't just go, oh, well, I want to tell this story, let's choose these cards and put them down. They're worked out using numerology and astrology, and there's a specific method of working out those cards to go in those placements, which I will share with you. But I've been blathering on for 45 minutes now, and I expect most of you have gone to sleep by now. So I think we'll do it in another video. If you'd like that, then drop me a comment below and let me know. Also, if you have other people that you'd like me to do a Pythastro spread for, let me know in the comments, or you can email me, naomi@skyspirit.co.uk. What I'd like to do is show you how to do your own Pythastro cards, your own Pythastro numbers, so that you can look at how you your compatibility with other people, and you can look at them and you can get an idea of how you interact with people and why. Okay, you can use this in so many different ways. It's such a fabulous system. It's been lovely to spend time with you. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time. Stay weird.